Okay, so today I have 3 service calls on. Tomorrow is New Year's Eve. Anyway, basically this first one is a Mitsubishi Electric, and the customer says that it runs for like 20 minutes or so, and it feels like it's just blowing air, not cold air, and then it eventually goes into a fault, and she can't remember what the fault is. So basically, I'm much more familiar with Daikin, obviously, but I've just turned it on, and the indoor fan runs perfectly. The compressors are running. The one of the outdoor fan motors is running, the other isn't, because it's a double fan, and then it just runs for a bit and then cuts out. So I'm just going to wait and see what this what fault it throws up, and then we'll go from there. So let's go down and see if it's come up with a fault yet. So it's just the fan is running. It's already cut out. So it's the top fan that runs, so that's really close. Yeah, top fan runs, the bottom doesn't. So let me open this thing up actually before I go downstairs.
Same error I said? I think so.
I'm not sure the one that you sent Scott, but it'll be the same. So it's got a U8 fault, which is outdoor fan. So basically I'm just going to turn it off. We know that one's not running, so basically you can just check the resistance of the fan motor, because there's obviously a good one and a bad one, and if the heap's different then obviously there's an issue. But yeah, anyway, I'm pretty confident that there's just a fan motor issue. I'm not going to waste too much time on it. Let me just check the resistances of these, just for curiosity's sake, and we'll go from there. Okay, so obviously I've had this turned off, and I have checked both the fan motors. And that video I made about Daikin, how to test the Daikin fan motor, it's exactly the same for Mitsubishi Electric, exactly the same. The colors are different, but you can use the same video. So I've tested them, and funnily enough, they both check out totally fine. I've got some leads. I took some people's advice. Got some really pointy leads, which I already had, to be honest. I could have already done, but I didn't take them cables out of the plug to test, and it's much quicker. So thanks for that. Anyway, I've checked both of them, and they're both totally fine. So I'm going to turn this back on. It's been over 15 minutes, so it's done a full reset. And I'm going to stay up here. Hopefully it turns on and I can just monitor it. Alright, so basically all I've done is I've come here. The customer didn't know what the fault code was, but she knew that it wasn't blowing cold air, and it eventually comes up with the code. I've ran it, it came up with a U8 code. Basically I've come up here, just visually watched it. Compressor starts, top fan runs, the bottom fan doesn't. As you can see right now, the compressor's starting, that is roaring. Bottom one is disconnected now, but anyway, so indoor fan runs, compressor runs, as you can hear. Top fan runs, so I just waited for it to attempt it 3 times. It eventually went into fault, and I found that it was a U8 fault, which lo and behold, when you look that up, it says that it's a fan motor issue. So I knew it was a fan motor issue, so all I've done since then is disconnected both the fan motors, check the resistance of the fan motors. They both check out fine, all good. Nothing is blocking the fan motor like from spinning. It's not seized because I can just like spin it, so everything sort of checks out fine. That F5 fuse up in the corner, that has continuity, and the board is pumping out the right voltage. So in between the the prongs, it's got 7 prongs there. In between 1 and 4 should be 300 volts DC. In between 5 and 4 should be 15 volts DC. And the board's pumping out the right voltage. So literally everything checks out fine. Now Mitsubishi Electric, I'll show you, I'll put a thing up on the screen, but basically it just recommends that like if that board is pumping out the right voltage and that's not spinning, it's the fan motor that's at fault. So the fact that the fan motor isn't running, I'm pretty confident that is the issue. So I've just decided I'm going to quote up the customer on a new fan motor, come out and change it. Now here's the tricky part, because Mitsubishi Electric believe that if you have a fan motor that fails, it can weaken that board. So they believe you should change the board and the fan motor together. That just makes it a whole lot more expensive. I'm thinking about just risking it and just doing the outdoor board, but that's what they say anyway. But regardless of all that, that's what I do. That's how my thought process is on a unit. Even a Mitsubishi Electric that I'm not familiar with, because it's not a Daikin, it's the same stuff. I just get up here, visually watch it, see what's not running. From the moment I walk in the house, I'm just like, is the fan motor running? What fault codes are up? Come out here, are all the major components running? And I could visually see that one wasn't running before I even got to the fault code. And then once I found out what the issue was and the fault code matched that, I just work out what's the problem, the board or the fan. This is a tricky one because they both check out fine, but I'm going to change the fan motor and I'll update you on on if it works or not, so stay tuned. Anyway, I'm going to pack this up and go to the next job.